There's a Nigerian immigrant by the name of Austin Chenge. Now, he is running for governor. He is a Republican, and he can run for governor. I don't take no issue with that whatsoever. But what got my attention and many of your attention, if you've not heard, about this man, he stated that if he becomes the governor of the state of Michigan, is that he's going to end Black History Month. Because here lately, I've been noticing Black History Month has been really under attack. But I want you to hear his explanation of why he wants to end Black History Month. Pay attention to what he's really saying. But we're going to really dive into that conversation today because it needs to be had. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
Another comment you made a couple days ago, you said if you took over as governor, you'd cancel Black History Month in this state. Can you explain, your reasoning behind that? I think it's, for a lot of people, that was shocking to hear someone say that.
Now, so we're all Americans. We come from very different backgrounds. We have Norwegians, we have Finnish, we have Swedish, Polish, German. We have people from African backgrounds in this country. We're all immigrants who came to this country. And so therefore, even including the indigenous American people, the indigenous native people, the people from very different backgrounds, the thing that should unite us is the idea of the American identity, not because of the small group that we come from, because it's polarizing. If we're going to have a Black History Month, then what about a Finnish History Month? What happens to a Jewish History Month? What happens to a Swedish History Month? The list goes on and on and on. But these are all American history. So therefore, I feel that as governor, the way to move forward to stop this division and this polarization that's going on in our community is to forge a single American identity that we can all identify with first. No one is saying you should get rid of your background. And no one is saying that in the middle of that, there's not going to be any Black history being taught or people of that background history being taught. But also, how about Finnish history? How about Norwegian history? How about German history? How about the rest of the people that make up this great and beautiful state of Michigan also having their history being taught in an American History Month, which can encompass all of this? That's my point of view, and I stand by that statement.
Now, his original statement that got people real upset, he had said that he'll cancel Black History Month. He said because he said it's offensive, unfair, maybe illegal. He said Americans from all backgrounds deserve a revered history. I'll declare American History Month. Now, he said in that video that, we need one identity. Where you come from, you can't even form one identity. How many people are divided in your own country, in your own homeland? You had to come way over here to America to establish your business and get money and be successful enough where you can actually even get to the point where you want to run for governor. Why didn't you run for politics in your own homeland? Austin, that's what I want to know. See, we got to have this conversation today. And let me preface this before I really get into this conversation, because I'm going to hurt some feelings today, but the truth hurts. It's just what it is. Now, my position, and I'm going to say this clearly, I love Black people from all over the world. If you look like me and you rock with me, I rock with you. Now, I know all skin folk, not kinfolk. Okay, I understand that, and I understand that globally. They got Black folk that hate Black folk, and that's global too. But today, we got to call out some things, and we got to have some serious conversations about Austin and those who kind of represent Austin, because I've been seeing a pattern here. Once again, if you're not the people I'm talking about, I'm not talking to you. Nigerians in particular. Many of you rock with me, I rock with you. I'm cool with you, or you've been cool with me. But some of y'all that's coming over here, we got to talk about it. Now, I understand at the same time, America vets its shucking and jiving people coming from the continent. I do know that. I've been told that by many, people on the continent, how they ask them certain questions. They make sure to tell them to stay away from Black Americans, etc. But I have been noticing something for a while. And in my, study time and me analyzing things, the one group that immigrates to this country from the continent that have the most, negative things to say about Black Americans, I notice, is immigrants that come from Nigeria. And I keep seeing, I kept asking questions like, why? Why is it that more Nigerian immigrants, and I'm not saying all, so don't come to me like that, but the ones that are doing it, why it keeps being Nigerian immigrants? Why? What is the issue with Black Americans? What, you know what I'm saying? I just keep noticing over and the Nakata thing and all of that. Can't marry a Nakata and all of that, but you'll marry Oyimbo. You'll marry them though. Even though they, colonized your land, still, messing up your country, taking your resources, so much so you got to leave your homeland to go to Europe or America or wherever, right? They go to your homeland and they sit up there and do whatever the hell they want to do in your land and be successful, and while you struggling in your own land, okay? But you come over here with a lot of smoke, some. You hear this fool here and listen to what he was saying. He was saying about basically a White History Month, right? Now, in the public school system, that's really what you get every day anyway. And you get a white supremacist history because you don't get the true American history. They don't tell you the truth about George Washington. They don't tell you the truth about the Constitution. They don't tell you the truth about Christopher Columbus. They don't tell you the truth about, what happened during chattel slavery. You have a lot of, Mzungus in this country that are oblivious to American history. And they seriously I didn't know that. Why? Because they go to the same public school you go to indoctrinate you into racism, white supremacy, which people talking about Donald Trump and his lie about the voting thing. The history they teach in this country is a big lie. It is a freaking lie. And that's why I said one day, I wasted my time going to public school. I learned more outside of public school than I learned in it. They didn't teach us crap. They really didn't. But Austin and people like him that immigrate to this country with all this smoke for Black Americans, is Austin, let me ask you a question. If you see this video, let's go back in time. Let's talk about the transatlantic slave trade. Now, I'm all about reality when it comes to history. Historically speaking, people in Austin's area, Nigeria, was a part of the transatlantic slave trade. The white folks didn't grab everybody up, and that's just the truth. Y'all in Nigeria, in that area, those tribes, were selling your own people to the white folks to be enslaved. And you know what you sold them for? You sold them for liquor. You sold them for plates, mirrors. You sold them for forks, spoons, things like that. You sold them for guns so you can have access to some guns. And then the people that you sold were the jewels of your land, because the white man didn't want any old body. He wanted the best of the best. And this is why this country was built. He took the builders, he took the innovators. That's the ones he took from your land. Sold your own people off. And your own people come here. This is why when a lot of us do a background, DNA wise, it'll show more Nigerian in a lot of us. More than anybody else. We come over here, we are enslaved, deal with the most horrible things that any human being should be dealing with for almost 250 years. Get out of that. We survived that, innovated this land, still go through Reconstruction, coming out of slavery, becoming millionaires, even through all of that. Still dealing with issues and problems, Jim Crow, redlining, the Ku Klux Klan, we fighting, deal with everything, and we still here. And they've stated, in the study that Black Americans are the most successful, group of black people in the world, even in our condition. And you know what I think? This is just my hypothesis. I think deep down inside, it bothers you. That bothers some of you to immigrate to this country. Now you say, oh, well, we come here, we're the most successful immigrant. It's not enough for you to be the most successful. What are you talking about? What do you define as success? What do you define as that? Black Americans have been doing it for a long time over here and still going to continue to do it in spite of the evil. And let me say something else. People like Austin and his ilk that immigrate over here makes it difficult also to unify at times. Because when you talk to some brothers and sisters about, connecting with the continent, they bring up Austin. That's the one they bring up. That's the one. They say, man, I don't want to go over there because, man, like I said, I run into them people like Austin here that basically want to side with white supremacy and attack black folk here. You know what I'm saying? When black folks were the one that fought for you to even come here. Because let's go back in time. White folks didn't want you here. They didn't want no African here. No black Caribbean here. They didn't want that. We are the ones that fought for our brothers and sisters to have opportunities to come over. And then when you come over, this is what you do. You side with the white supremacists and thinking you're right in the process. And notice you talking about all this history. It was all white countries. It was all white. He mentioned African once, but after that, it was all white. Now, see, if you really got with black Americans, they would have lined your hairline up. We wouldn't let you walk around with a hairline looking like that, getting on TV. Another thing that we're going to have to talk about here. We look at, the comments of the Cynthia Erivos, another Nigerian immigrant. We look at that Bob Hart's Abishola show, Nigerian immigrants. Like we ain't done Nigerians anything. Why are they all y'all coming over here giving us smoke like we done you anything? We're not taking your resources in Nigeria. We're not threatening to put sanctions on your country. Let's talk about that. Do you know Jim Crow Joe is just stated, and if you follow me on Twitter and Instagram, you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you're not following me, I don't know why. It's free. But Jim Crow Joe just said that if they don't get rid of their anti-gay law that they have in Nigeria, because basically if you're gay over there, they'll put you in jail for about 10 to 14 years. Well, Jim Crow Joe said if you don't get rid of that and basically turn Nigeria into what America is now, if you don't start going that route, then he's going to put sanctions on Nigeria. Yes, sanctions. Now, Austin here should be talking about that, not trying to mess with black Americans about our history. And black history is American history, every bit of it. What is he talking about? Black Americans ain't done nothing to nobody in Nigeria. We have not. And one thing I can say, Nigerians on the continent have a different attitude than those that's coming over here. A lot of them that's coming over here, that's those that come from money. And a lot of them that come from money come from that old slave money. Just like you talk about the white folks with the old slave money, some of them got the old slave money too that was allowed to come over here. Not all of them, but a good amount of them do. They had that lineage. The thing is, you sit up here talking all this crap about black Americans, but you copy our style, you copy the rap, you copy everything that we do. But you act like you got this big issue with black Americans. This is why a lot of brothers and sisters are being more hostile about that. Because see, let's talk about it in reality. Prior to the immigration bill, we just had to deal with the white supremacists. Now you're dealing with imported white supremacists, no matter where they come from. Why are you dealing with imported white supremacists? Well, they're going to vet the ones they want to come in here and make sure they have anti-black American views. That's number one. Number two, the culture of America is anti-black racism. When you come into this country, assimilating into America is assimilating into anti-black racism. And no immigrant that comes to this country want to be George Floyd. They don't want to be Breonna Taylor. So they say, shoot, I better get on team white supremacy too. Man, I'm not trying to deal with that. So let me make sure I keep the white supremacists off of me. So let me say they lazy too. Let me call them a kata and everything else that we gonna call them. This guy is utterly despicable. He's despicable. And once again, I gotta repeat this because I know people gonna be in their feelings. I have no hatred for nobody in the black community at all, no matter where they come from. But I have to call you out. The ones who's doing it, I gotta call you out. Just like I call out shucking and jiving people as black Americans. I call them out too. But we can't be having y'all coming to this country talking about getting rid of Black History Month. How dare you? When have you seen black Americans going over to Nigeria or anywhere on the continent and saying we need to get rid of, something that's dear to your culture? When have we done that? We have never done that. And let me say something else too. That wound of slavery and y'all part in it is still kind of there. And you want me to be real about a few things? This is why some black Americans have a hard time and may not even visit West Africa, because the stain is still there. And you see probably more people going to East Africa, maybe going to Southern Africa or whatever. Now, with the exception of Liberia. Liberia was started by black Americans. It was. Outside of Liberia, this is just things that some of us think about. Now, Ghana, they were a part of it too, but they did apologize, and they have been more open to try to get, brothers and sisters to come over. They had a year return, whether it's perfect or not, that's not the issue, but you see Ghana trying. So I don't have no issues with Ghana at all. And I don't see Ghanaian immigrants coming in here always got this smoke for black Americans. I don't see that, but I always see it all the time. Some Nigerian immigrants saying all this crap about black Americans. And the thing is, those, as y'all guys would say, Oyimbos, they have no love for you. They can't stand your behind. Just like they can't stand us. Like, why don't you realize you're being played? Look at your country. The reason why your country is the way it is because of them. It's not because of us. Brothers and sisters come over, we would help you make Nigeria a better place. We want to help you. Because if y'all win and we can be a part of it, hey, that's awesome. But some of y'all, got the same, like I told you, the black world got the same problem. You love them folks. Oh, you love them. But in Nigeria, you got one of the biggest statues of Oyimbo Jesus in Africa. I mean, I've never seen nothing like that. Y'all got a big old statue of an Oyimbo. What in the hell is that? Y'all need to knock that freaking statue down to the ground. That's the problem. You got so much love for them folks and don't even see how you being used and played. One thing you notice, them folks don't divide with each other. They don't say, oh, you from Finland, like he keeps talking about Finland and Sweden and Norway, and they don't talk about their own. They are together. But y'all so silly, you want to come over here and be against, not all, of course not. But those of you who want to immigrate from Nigeria coming over here, giving us all the smoke, and then people sitting there laughing at you, laughing. It don't make no sense. It really don't. But, this guy deserves all the smoke he can get. And yes, he is a Republican, but it don't matter if he's a Republican or a Dixiecrat. And yes, I'm not calling them Democrats no more. I'm calling them Dixiecrats because that's exactly how they treat black folks. They went back to Dixiecrat. They just remixed it. So whether you're a freaking Republican or a Dixiecrat, don't bother me none. But this guy, sad. And Nigerians that could watch this video, let us know in the comments how you feel about that. Let us know. Because people like him is causing issues, constantly causing issues. And this is the thing, I'm gonna wrap up with this. On the continent, the reputation Y'all don't come over here calling us lazy and calling us Akata and all of that, because you know on the continent, you call the Akata, you call the criminal. Everywhere you go, people don't like you either. I'm saying, dude, how black Americans are treated here, that's the way you treat it on the continent. Anybody from the continent would know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't have no hate for nobody, but don't come here doing that. Don't come here doing that, because black folks, they're not going to put up with it no more. No, because that isn't right. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about the situation, you know, with Austin here, want to involve himself and want to get rid of Black History Month when he didn't fight a day for anything in this country. You know, he's coming over here benefiting off of the blood, sweat, and tears, literally, of our ancestors that his ancestors possibly sold. That's why this is extremely offensive.